Hello everyone, this is TheNelston and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be going over all of the major changes in the upcoming Wynncraft 2.0.4 update, which improves both my least favorite part of the game, loot running, and my favorite, gambling. This update appears small, but after testing, I can say it's honestly more packed than a Best Buy on Black Friday, so without further ado, let's get right into it. The first major announcement is that support for Minecraft versions 1.15 and below will be dropped before 2024 due to server updates. Sadly, this does mean that the best version 1.12.2 will no longer be usable. The changes were made in order to take advantage of more powerful tools available for 1.16 plus, such as backend changes which will supposedly increase the server's maximum render distance without impacting server performance. I'm pretty sad about this since I love 1.12, but I think it's honestly a reasonable change to make, as limiting the server to such an old version definitely gated a lot of tools which the devs could have otherwise used. Next up, we have character banks, which will essentially act as bank pages that are locked to specific character profiles. Similar to tomes, you will only be able to use these bank slots on the appropriate class, and the addition will not take the place of any existing systems. Instead, it will just straight up be a massive addition to the amount of bank space available to players. I think that this is probably one of, if not the single best update in the patch, because equipment bank space has been an issue for a while now, and being able to store class-specific builds without relying on a buggy and rank lock system like armor stands is absolutely incredible. The one thing I really dislike though is that the number of pages you can get is locked behind your paid rank. I understand that Wynncraft needs to promote getting a rank to keep the server running wherever possible, but having such a fundamental quality of life thing gated behind money doesn't really leave a good taste in my mouth. Then again, I don't really like the taste of a lot of things in my mouth, so you know. Then we have another big addition, loot run camps in Molten Heights and Sky Islands. These two areas are my favorite places in the game, no bias of course, and the addition of these might make me actually enjoy loot running for once. Jokes aside, I'm a big fan of having more LRCs in the game, as it expands the potential mythic pool and offers more variety if you get tired of Silent Expanse or Corcus runs, and getting bored of those two areas is really not that hard to do. Missions are the newest addition to loot runs and fundamentally change the way that loot runs are played. After finishing your 4th challenge, you get offered 3 missions and unlock the buff for the rest of your run upon completion of said mission. All of these are pretty disgustingly strong, especially my personal favorite, Materialism, which adds a yellow beacon reward chest to the end of every single challenge that you do. There are only 4 listed on the changelog, but I found a lot more through testing, and I don't want to spoil too much, so you'll just have to figure out the other ones for yourself. Moving on, let's talk about all of the beacon changes, because there are a lot. Just like kindergartners looking for bugs to squish, no stone is left unturned and no beacon effect was left unchanged, except for white, purple, blue, okay, never mind, that joke did not. Let's start with the most consequential changes, the buffs to green and red beacons. Both beacons have been made unlimited and can no longer appear multiple times in a row. Yes, this basically means that you will be able to infinitely extend the duration of your loot runs. This is an utterly insane change, but I absolutely support it for several reasons. One, it means that God runs are no longer solely conditional on getting rainbow beacons early, as you can literally just get whatever challenge you want, whenever you want, at your own pace. 2, it means that you can extend runs to some truly absurd lengths, and I find that absolutely hilarious. The devs did say that this is subject to change depending on how the balancing looks, but between you and me, I don't think the current iteration of green and red beacons is gonna stay as it is. Gray beacons have been completely reworked and now no longer offer rerolls. Instead, they will offer missions with aqua beacon and vibrant buffs, providing a larger pool of missions to select from. You can get up to 3 gray beacons starting from challenge 5, with each time you don't take it reducing the likelihood of getting offered one again. While I'm sad about the loss of rerolls from gray beacons, I feel like missions are an infinitely more fun system to interact with and definitely support this change. Besides, you can still get rerolls from missions, so it's really not that big of a deal. Yellow beacons now offer a flying chest with boosted loot bonus upon completion, with aqua beacon and vibrant effects generating more chests. These chests essentially bring back old loot running, except even better because you can now get multiple chests at a time with massively improved drop tables. And yes, these chests are affected by loot bonus and loot quality items. I liked the amount of loot from old loot running but hated the repetitive nature, while I love the new style of loot run camps but hate the lack of solid rewards for individual challenges. This yellow beacon change takes the best of both worlds and makes it even better. Now I genuinely feel like doing runs with high loot bonus and high loot quality will become very strong, and I will absolutely be rocking disco in all of my runs from now on. Orange beacons have been changed to be more common and not have a limit on appearances, but only last for 6 challenges. Aqua beacon and vibrant effects will increase only the duration of the buff as well. I'm honestly a bit skeptical of this change, as adding a duration on the beacon means one more thing I have to juggle in the back of my mind, and my brain is too small to handle all of that. I understand the reason for this change given the red and green beacon buffs, but I still don't really like how it's made to be an additional thing to deal with now. Aqua beacons have been made unlimited, but can now no longer be offered repeatedly in a row. I'm sad that I can no longer gamble on stacking aquas just to get offered a yellow or blue beacon, but honestly, aqua stacking is fucking stupid and I'm glad this was changed. Finally, dark gray beacons have been made consistent, with the number of end reward pulls now being the same as the number of curses given. Is this really a surprising change to anyone? I feel like this was a long time coming. Overall, my takeaway from the beacon changes is that you don't have to worry about running a meta strategy or anything like that. It genuinely feels like taking any beacon at any time is never really a bad choice, and for that I am utterly impressed by the development team. There are some loot run level changes, but there's not really too much to talk about there, so yeah, you guys can just read what's on the screen. Not only were beacons overhauled and missions added, boons and curses are also seeing some balancing changes. The likelihood that damage and health boons are offered has been increased, while a few boons have been buffed, even some which were already quite strong. Curses' negative effects have also been reduced, while the maximum resistance that mobs can reach has been dropped from 90% to 84%. Finally, all curses of the same type will be merged into one status effect, so you can finally see what's on your screen. These are all pretty straightforward buffs, so I have no additional commentary other than to just say that I breathed a sigh of relief, seeing that I no longer had to fight literal war towers just to complete challenges. Okay, we're at the good part. It's time to talk about gambling. 2 new types of rare Korkian augments have been added to the loot run rewards, the Insulator and the Simulator. The Insulator will let you lock one stat at the current roll so you can reroll without losing a high stat line, while the Simulator will let you reroll items without increasing the reroll count or cost. These two can't be used with each other, but can be used with Korkian amplifiers, which have received a new texture. The Insulators are cool and all, but can we talk about the Simulators? These things are absolutely insane. Essentially, you can permanently lock an item on 0 rerolls and maintain both the drip of having a 1-roll item and the low reroll cost. Even if they cost a stack per, which I highly doubt will be the final price anyways, it'll be worth it in the long run, as that's essentially the cost of rolling to 4 on most mythics. Let me tell you, when I read about these additions, I was jumping up and down like a kid on Christmas morning, because for my serial gambling ass, it basically was. I can't wait to see the absolute avalanche of new ranked items getting rolled, and I'm here for it. The last major change is that a new system and reward sacrifices has been added. If you get sacrifices during your loot run, you can now commit 50% of your current pulls to the next loot run in exchange for not claiming the chest. The more sacrifices you get, the higher the percentage you can commit to the next loot run. If I didn't misunderstand the system while testing things out, I do believe that you can basically build up a huge number of pulls by constantly sacrificing rewards from each successive loot run, although thanks to some stupid nerd stuff called math, this doesn't really seem all that worth it past maybe 2 or 3 sacrifices. I do like the new system, however, and I feel like it's a really nice addition after Grey Beacons got reworked. Finally, let's talk about some minor changes. New shiny stat trackers such as loot runs completed and number of Ava interactions have been added. Buff rerolling in raids has been patched, so your dreams of getting Hopeless 3 every single run are now hopeless. They fixed various typo? Okay, anyways. They also added some new void holes to the Silent Expanse to make navigation easier. And finally, there's a bunch of other stuff I'll just let you guys read about. Phew, that was a wild changelog. I can't wait for the 2.0.4 updates to hit beta servers soon, and hopefully with a little more time on my hands, I'll be able to make a slightly more entertaining video instead of a glorified digital sleeping pill. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions or thoughts, drop a comment down below, leave a like if you liked the video and a dislike if you hated it, subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.